this is just funny, actually. We'll play. We got, I think, 3 more to get to. This is pretty funny. I mean, look, I'm a big Bill Burr fan. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch the new Chappelle special. Really, it's available on YouTube. Definitely watch that. And so, yeah, I think, I'm a huge Bill Burr fan too. I think he's very funny. I think he's also, again, I always say these are like very good examples of how broader sets of folks are thinking about things. And this kind of like, the way Joe Rogan is going to start the concern troll about the fucking masks here. I mean, again, and we said, like, yes, what Amberly Frost pointed out, that underlying left impulse. We're not going to just say, oh, yeah, digital ID, that's great. But then at the same time, this kind of like just basic right-wing bullshit of, oh, are you going to wear a mask? Mm. I love how Bill Burr answers this. I think this is hilarious. And I went out and popped my mask on and took the walk after I saw this.
You want people to walk down the street with a mask on?
Let's not start this, John.
Do you, though?
Let's not start this. Okay.
Let's start it.
I don't want to start this bullshit. I'm not going to sit here with no medical degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up better than the CDC. All I do is I watch the news once every 2 weeks. I'm like, mask or no mask? Still mask? All right, mask. That's all I give a fuck about. I don't care.
But even they say you shouldn't wear a mask unless you're treating a coronavirus patient. The World Health Organization.
Yeah, but they didn't say that initially.
What does that even mean? I don't know what's he referring to there? I definitely think they're still telling you to wear masks.
Well, the thing is like, and look, there's a point to be made that like initially like we were lied to.
Yes.
And they were saying that wearing a mask wasn't important because they were afraid that people were going to buy up all the masks.
Yeah, they lied to us because they didn't have production.
Scandal, and I think we should be, rightfully upset about this. But Joe Rogan is completely off on this one.
Yeah.
Totally. All right, let's keep going.
Initial. They didn't say it initially.
No, they didn't.
They did. And then it gradually, and then wait. And then everybody wore the fucking masks. This is like rollerblading. Everybody fucking rollerbladed, and then there was that one fucking homophobic joke, and then everybody acted like they never did it. And then 100 million fucking rollerblades got thrown into the fucking ocean. We all wore masks. And then all of a sudden, people are fucking sitting there. What? You don't have the body type for it, dude. Your fucking knuckles would scrape on the ground. Even with that extra 2 inches. I just love how wearing a mask became like this fucking like soft thing that you were doing, like being.
I liked.
That's pretty good.
Just the totally unnecessary shot about rollerblading. Relax. Put on the fucking mask.
Yeah.
Have the deeper concern, of course. It's also something that's so like you get into this like shit about digital ID and national databases and and ankle monitors and how your phones can monitor your heart rate. And there was this whole thing I was reading about years ago about like the is there going to be a regulation between what your cell phone provider can sell your insurer about your second by second biometrics, right? This is serious stuff. There's something honestly so charmingly analog about, hey, you just pop on a fucking mask and look out for your fellow human beings. There's no tag on the mask. There's no biometrics on the mask. It's the simplest thing in the world. It's the same thing people did 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. The last time there was a pandemic like this.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're talking to Besson earlier about the whole Foucault thing, and he talks about the sort of plague as a forerunner to the panopticon. Whereas like you were literally cordoning up the city into neighborhoods, having a specific state watchman there to count, make sure people would have to come to their windows and show themselves, and if they didn't show themselves, they would assume you were sick, and consequences would follow. And to kind of tie in another ongoing thematic thing is, there's these stories, and Defoe talks about this in the Literary Hangover episode I just did, of people going out in the last time in 1721 the plague erupted, going out and killing watchmen because they were abusing people, and then And he's like, well, they were also people who needed jobs anyway, so they're from the same class. So the aristocracy was like fine with it, basically. But you see the like development of a police state and the sort of dynamics of desperate jobs, and people. A lot of like wealthy people escaped to the suburbs and left their workers in the city to fend for themselves. You're not coming with us, sorry. And I mean, pretty amazing stuff. But good thing we've put all that behind us.
Yeah, exactly. It's so nice that we're at a completely different point in
the
history.
comparisons to 100 years ago are so frightening.
That's 400, 300, 400 years ago.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the United States.
Oh, right, yeah.
God, geez. Oh, that's even wilder. I don't know. I've just been reading a lot about, like, in Texas, for example, like the Spanish flu was really devastating in Central Texas because they reopened really quickly. And then there was a massive second wave. Just I don't know. It's scary to think that this is actually this thing that feels so world historic has happened in like somewhat recent history, and we're still not learning the lessons.
And learn the lessons of, the way the Obama administration fairly well managed Ebola in the United States.
It's like, well, you can learn the lessons, you just can't enact them.
Right. You can do all the learning you want.
You can have a great idea of how you're getting
totally free to read about it.
Honestly, not to go too long, but like for me, like the Joe Rogan, like this was like this will be a vivid memory for me. Like right when this first started and we started to realize how serious it was, I remember listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. I can't remember who his guest was, but he's like a disease expert, like talking about how serious coronavirus.
Michael Osterholm, we had him on Majority Report after.
Oh, wow, yeah. And I just remember being like, wow, this is so serious. It is so funny for me to now watch Joe Rogan like 4 months later being like, oh, we shouldn't wear a mask anymore.
No joke. My dad felt like that's the only time he's ever listened to Joe Rogan. He's like, somebody shared me with the Rogan thing, and this guy was actually impressed me about, like, I've been telling him about coronavirus, but it took some other, but sharing a Rogan interview with Michael Osterholm.
Matt, I'll be honest. You were telling me about coronavirus, and I was like, I don't know. And then Joe Rogan.
That's awesome. Just like, yeah, I don't know, Matt. I'm gonna fucking listen to his show.
I'm not even a Joe Rogan fan. It was just a random.
Anyway, like Joe Rogan was saying the best way to cure elk meat is actually when it's raining outside, but fucking Corona's coming.
Honestly, that's why that Joe Rogan can talk about stuff like that is actually useful to him.
Oh, 100%. I mean, actually, Russell Brand had a really good commentary on Joe Rogan and Spotify and like male spirituality stuff. It's actually, that one's worth watching.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.